talking about how reading affects the brain, what's happening while we're reading, the long-term effects of it and benefits of it. This video couples really well with a video that I did not very long ago where I talked about why we love characters so much, why we love fictional worlds and characters and stories to such an extreme level. That was more from the perspective of an avid reader that's really deep into reading. This is more from the perspective of how reading affects our brains, how it affects our emotions, personalities, kind of showing the merit behind reading for anyone that isn't so sure that it'd be worth it or maybe wants to get into it. I find it so interesting how many times I've heard someone throughout my lifetime either say, I wish I had time to read, but I just don't have any time for reading, or just completely write it off with something as simple as, reading seems boring. I don't know why I would spend my time that way. I do find it really interesting because I would wager that the majority of people that say these things do spend their spare time somehow, whether it be chilling with a TV show or just with another hobby like video games, board games, crafting, knitting, a variety of things where people like to chill out after a long day. So arguably everybody has time for it. People do spend their downtime in either hobbies or entertainment, whether watching a movie at the end of a long day or just doom scrolling for hours. I don't think any of these things are necessarily bad, and I definitely am not trying to knock someone else's hobby in order to make my hobby seem superior. I just find it funny how many people undervalue reading or kind of brush it aside or think that it doesn't have the same merit as other hobbies. So I've spent a little bit of time looking into how reading affects the brain, and I figured I would do a quick video kind of summarizing some of the cool things that I've learned. One, and this is a really big one to me, is reading enhances attention span. Nowadays, I'm 29, so I'm of the age where entertainment and social media and these things haven't been a part of my life forever. I mean, my childhood and middle school life was pretty chill as far as these things go, but I still had TV, I still had video games, I still had, dial-up internet. But the majority of my life, especially the entirety of my adult life, I have been saturated with all of these things. I want things now. I live in a microwave age, and anytime a web page takes a minute to load, I'm irritated by my internet. And I live out in the middle of nowhere, so I assure you, my internet is terrible. We also live in an age where entertainment is very flash, it's very snap, it's very constantly keep things moving. It's really interesting. I'm not really a movie buff, but it is really interesting to kind of look at more classic movies and how slow moving they are, how more they focus a lot more on character and on environment and on the experience and really helping you feel like you're there. And a lot of modern movies are a lot more flashy, a lot more like things need to be happening around every corner. I find that happens with a lot of different things. Even the way YouTube is now versus how it was is really different. People want to be concise. People want to get their point across immediately. People don't want to ramble because someone will click away if they don't get to their point very quickly. There's a lot of B-roll, a lot of visual stuff to keep people staying on because a talking head for a long time will make people leave. I mostly do talking heads. It's what I like to watch and it's what I like to make. But it is really interesting to me how society does things very quickly. We want nuggets of information. We want TED Talks as opposed to a novel or as opposed to a lecture. And none of these things are inherently bad, but when we live in a society that's constantly trying to get information faster, constantly trying to get their entertainment faster, our attention spans are just narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. And reading is one of those things that actually expands that attention span a lot. Being able to sit still and hyper-focus on one thing is something that we really struggle with today. We may read a page or two and be really into what we're reading and then pick up our phones and suddenly we've been scrolling for an hour. We may sit down to do a task and as soon as we sit down think, why am I here? What did I come here to do? I'm going to reference a lot of studies in this video, and just for my own convenience sake, they're going to be linked in the description rather than me rattling off names and dates throughout this entire thing. But studies have shown that reading consistently over a large period of time not only enhances attention span so that we can sit and focus on one task without needing to reach for a phone, without getting distracted, without thinking about something else and forgetting what we're doing, actually having a solid sense of focus is expanded through more linear tasks like reading a book from start to finish. There are obviously other ways to improve your attention span as well, but reading is a really great one for that. There have also been studies that show that reading engages and exercises the left temporal cortex. That's the part of your brain that's associated with language, facts, and memory. Reading also helps you have heightened connectivity. That means that readers oftentimes connect things a lot more frequently. So maybe you learned something over here several months ago and you remembered it, and now when you're learning something over here, you're